Welcome back to the Taylosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. What's up? We've got some Pixel phones to talk about this week.
Gotta go.
Well, but before we talk, all right. Well, I guess before we talk about Pixel phones, I found this little guy hidden in some storage boxes that I was unpacking for my mother recently.
Adorable.
I mentioned it, I think, a while back that I owned an iPod, and we were trying to figure out what it was. I think it was when the iPod got discontinued by Apple earlier this year. We were mentioning it, and I was trying to figure out which one it was. And then I found it. I'm like, oh, wow. And I looked at the songs on it. I'm like, there's only like 27 songs on here, and it's comprising like...
He's still alive.
Oh my God. Y'all missed it right before we hit record. These guys are going at it like crazy with the Revenge of the Sith quotes.
Still alive.
But it's at like 200 megabytes on the songs of 27 songs I have. But it's a
Listen.
I don't know if I can get it. It's a 1 gigabyte model. There we go.
Wow.
Yes.
You could fit 2 of our podcasts on that thing.
Right?
But on the offset here, I want to address something that I've been getting a lot of messages about, more than I was expecting. So,
what do I think this is going to be the queen?
No.
The foam tips?
No. This is more in regards to personnel. I thought this was addressed on podcast, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I want to just kind of clear the air really quickly before I forget. Okay. I am not, ladies and gentlemen, watching or listening, but I am not leaving the show. I am just going on daddy break. And it just coincides that when my son is born, we're out of the season of stuff anyway, because he'll be born at the end of November. We take our season break during the holiday season anyway. So the whole no shows will be happening unless there was some December event, maybe, but we take our season's break and we come back normally in January. I may or may not be back for the premiere, but more may than may not. We're working around schedulings and stuff like that because now the logistics kind of have to change. But I had a lot of people reach out to me, DMs or tweets, like just on both Instagram and Discord or Twitter. They're like, "Hey, so you're leaving just like Nick?" Nick is not Nick, like Mr.
Not
Ant
just
Sweeney.
like Nick.
Not just like him. Mr. Ant Sweeney is he's a Taylosive fellow. He comes and goes That's
right.
That's right.
He's graduated to fellow. He's welcome back anytime. I hope people know that who comment.
Yeah.
That we're not leaving Nick off. He can come back whenever he wants.
I am not Nick's replacement. I'm just here because Drew said you want to talk about tech. And I said, boy, would I with my iPod.
That's right, baby.
Mike is the only iPhone 14, only Mac Studio, only Studio Display, only iPad Mini owning person on this show. So
he brings.
You want to talk Apple
knowledge.
sheep?
Yeah.
Mike has some more Apple sheep points than I do at this time. So
we may or may not have enabled him. Yeah. So I just, before I forget, because I meant to do it last week, and then I got throughout this past week,
I did not know people took it that way. I think I said something off cuff. I said you'll be gone later, but
yeah. So
no, he's not retiring.
So, I'm not leaving. Okay, I'm having way. I'm having way too much fun. And truth be told, as I've said, at least on my streams for sure, this is stuff we would be talking about if we weren't recording it. This is just genuine excitement and interaction. So I'm not leaving. There will be a break, but throughout that break, it's just like it just coincides the fact that the podcast goes on its season break as well. So if I don't come back, if you don't, all that to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't see me on certain episodes, I'm life, So we have older people who are parents on here. You guys understand. And for those who don't understand, imagine you're in school and you don't make all the live streams or the whatever. It's same thing. Just you have to mitigate your responsibilities the same way. And I will be back as soon as possible if we make it work. Even if that means that we kind of stagnate. EV and tech, if it has to do it that way, we can make it work. So just know that this is not a full exit. It's just going on paternity leave equivalent. So I just wanted to.
Sorry, everyone. Randy's not leaving.
I tried my best to replace him too.
You will not stop me. Baby Vasquez will become more powerful than either of us.
Here we go again.
Here we go. All right.
That's right.
That's it. We can't get rid of him that easy. But interesting. I did not see that at all. Must have been very pointed towards you. But I'm glad that people are concerned about you. Just
they were like, is he leaving? Well, it was the thing. Some people was like, hey, are you quitting? And I'm like, no. Other people's like, are you leaving? I'm like, I mean, like what? So when the baby's gone, you're gone? I'm like, we'll be on break. And then other people are like, are you and Nick protesting? No, stop looking for drama. Stop looking for drama where it doesn't exist. Go back 2 episodes. There was Nick, like, or 3, whatever. Like, no, that's not how that is. We are actually friends. This isn't a contract marriage. This is.
I'm the lover in this situation.
We got prenups and everything. We're good.
Yeah.
But
so, I just wanted to, because it's been a bit much.
I think,
and I stopped responding to the comments. So I wanted to just
on the subject of, I don't know, Randy, you leaked in one of my live streams in the chat that I think you checked out some 14s in person. Did you not?
I did.
And he bought 5
this
of them.
past weekend. So get this. Last weekend we had.
I did it wrong. Remember that tweet when you pre-ordered like 5 iPhones and you were like, I think I did it wrong. And your order page was just like filled with, they were all the same color or something.
I did do it wrong. That was a genuine I messed up because I thought the order didn't go through. It was loading. It's like, all right, do it again. And then there's 2. I'm like, ah! And then there was 3. I'm like, oh God, it won't stop. It's multiplying. And then people, first comment, so giveaway?
This is getting out of hand.
There's 3 of them now.
Now there's 3.
All right. Last weekend, we had our what I dubbed the East Coast baby shower. West Coast, my fellow panel here got to hang out with me for the day, and then a month later, we did our East Coast one. And with that, we had some friends come in or fly out, and it was weird with the hurricane too. A lot of people didn't make it; things got canceled. The hurricane. I
hope it was because they just couldn't make it because the flights weren't going there.
I had a guy in New Orleans who they grounded everything. They're like,
okay,
they had bigger problems to work on.
Yeah,
better than they didn't make it because we just stopped hearing them.
They had bigger shrimp to fry.
They had bigger crawfishes to cook. So yeah, we had a few people who were no shows, but the ones that did, we had somebody come out from Texas, and that is a whole story I would talk about later. But it involves theft, iCloud locking. I think sex is involved. No, I'm trying to do the Steve Jobs.
Someone should make a movie about. I got where that was going.
Yeah. Someone should make a movie about this. But it genuine.
So someone brought you a 14.
So someone has an iPhone 14 Pro because her 12 mini got stolen, and she's waiting, and she's like waiting on law enforcement. Like there's a whole thing. It's pinpointed. It knows exactly where it's at. They haven't got into the phone. It's still online, even though the battery is dead. That's a whole nother thing. But let's talk about 14 Pro for a second.
Sounds like more demand for the Mini than the Plus.
That's not interesting. Talk about Space Black.
Let's talk about Space Black. Yeah. No, let's talk. Someone should make a movie about it. It's interesting to see how iCloud or Find My behaves when it thinks something was stolen or left behind, and you get those pings like with AirPods. Yeah. She was like, I went in and I locked it, but she didn't erase the content on her phone. I think because the battery is dead. You know how like it has that weird idle period where it can still like unlock things even though the phone won't turn on. It's like in that state right now. In fact, now that she's home, I kind of want to pick her brain about the aftermath of that. But someone just Like in 2022, you think you're just gonna get in someone's phone like that? Someone just took her phone, like, yep, this is my phone now. Good luck. Like that's a very expensive paperweight. You're not gonna get anything out of it. You can't even AirDrop unless you unlock the phone. I found that out. So
and you have a hard time selling parts even if you wanted to tear it down because they're non-genuine. So she got cops involved in all this, but then she came out here for our baby shower, and so she was rocking a 3-day-old or a 2-day-old iPhone 14 Pro that she already dropped. Uh-oh.
Sounds like me.
Shoot.
And scuffs on the black steel, and I'm just because the moment I took it out of the case, like, let me see it. I took it out of the case, and the first thing I see is white where the black, steel should be. I'm like, you dropped it. She goes, oh my God, leave me alone. She got really defensive, and I'm like,
she said, don't bring it up on your podcast.
And here we are, folks.
Because I say this because she's going to return the phone. She's in the 14-day thing. I was like,
oh, she's fine. Yeah. They don't care.
I was like, you dropped it. And she goes, shut
Apple
up.
don't give a flying flip.
No, she got it from Verizon.
Phone. Oh, she might be in trouble then.
Yeah. So
they will charge you a fee if it's in pristine condition. So
she got it at Verizon.
Drew, I wanted to add, they do care now. A lot of the, what's it called? The warranty stuff with like having a scratch on the phone, no longer a thing anymore. Because I know from personal experience, which I'll probably put an image in, but I don't know. Let's see if I can try to get it in frame or not.
Okay.
It's in there. There's a scratch on the screen. It is impossible to see on here, but we'll put it here.
I believe you.
Anyways, wherever it is, there's now a scratch on the screen. I went to Apple to see if they would replace it, and their new warranty does not allow you to get a whole new phone or a whole new screen, either if you have Apple Care or if you're still in the 15 to 30 day window of ownership or whatever. They will not replace. Yeah, they won't give you a whole new screen or a whole new phone just because it's scratched. If it's cracked, it's a whole different scenario. But if it's scratched,
so I need to crack my 13. Before you could just say
you need to crack it, Mike.
Yeah, you need to. Because I have Apple Care solely because I want to replace my screen of I dropped it once and it's like there's abrasions, and my paranoia brain goes, this is making the front facing camera worse. Like the scratch is just enough, and I know I'm being paranoid, but in my mind I'm like, this is bothering me. So, she got her phone at a Costco with the Verizon kiosk, and that's how she was working. So I look at the phone, and the first thing I noticed, how on the regular size Pro, not the Pro Max, how heavy the offset of the weight of the camera bump is. It's like, whoa, I'm about to drop it. Oh, and then I turned it over. Like I thought this bump was bad, and then I was like, oh, it's growing. It's like a pimple that won't stop swelling. It won't stop. It's so bad. At this point, it's the design language. It's part of the aesthetic. And then I turned it over and I looked, and the first thing I was like, that is a black phone. Oh my God, it is beautiful. Look at it. Besides ignoring the scuff that happened on the stain, I was like, this stainless steel, like black polish, beautiful. But now I see it will scratch easily. Uh-oh. Should I worry about this? I don't know. Then I'm looking at the end of it like, this is a deep, dark, rich, just space black. I was like, oh, I want it. I don't even want to look at the purple, and I haven't seen the purple yet. I'm like, I want this black. I want this on everything. It's perfect. Perfection. And then I turn over. I look at the dynamic island. I'm like, hello. Let's play with you. It wore off before I even got unlocked into the phone. I was like, that's cool. I'm over it. It wore off so quick. I missed the bump, the camera notch. Genuinely.
The bezel bump.
The bezel bump. I missed the static peninsula. I missed my phone. I looked at it's like, oh, this is cool. But it dropped. It is. I can notice like, oh, it's lower. It's noticeably lower. The cutout, the island. I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. And the only thing I really cared about was jumping into the cameras because that's what I would have tested anyway. Checked out the camera array sensors that they have going on. I was like, this is cool. All right, it's incremental upgrades as I expected. And I was like, let me see this autofocus on the front-facing camera that Drew was talking about. And I'm trying to, spoof it and do its thing. And it felt like, like, oh, that's cool, I guess. It's still a front-facing camera with, like, detail and imaging. Like, the rear cameras are so much more polished and clean than the front-facing. I was like, it's cool it focuses, but it's like cinematic mode really or portrait mode, either of those, like, does what I would want it to do for focusing anyway, because I don't know what it is. The front-facing camera is so flat, like image, and there's no bump, but
literally flat.
It's literally flat, and even just the photos, like you could tell when something's a front-facing and what's a rear-facing. There's cleaner detail in the rear cameras. So then I was like, what does 48 megapixel camera look like raw? Took a photo of that. And just like what you said with shooting in RAW or ProRes, it's like I was like, it's still an iPhone camera. Like that was the first thing I noticed. Pinching in, I was like, okay, I'm actually trying to pixel peep. It's still a noisy, fuzzy, because I did it in an honest environment of like inside. The lighting, it's not studio lighting, it's just indoor lighting. So you got the warm light bulb, fluorescent light bulb, like boom, photo. Like, get together, everybody, boom, photo. And I punch it, I'm like, it's still a smartphone photo. It's not Blackmagic or Sony or Nikon. And that was what I was hoping 48 megapixels would try to pull me out of. It was a cool reality check. Like, okay, I see what you're doing. We're not there yet. But we are literally years advanced from the iPhone 7 Plus. But now, even from here, like, I can see where if we really leaned in on it, the cameras can do a good enough job of upgrade or replacing possible like dedicated camera systems that people would have. I intentionally tried to do the podcast with the iPhone as a cool. Like, hey guys, look, this is what a phone could do. But what every modern phone recently is capable of doing this, and it's a kind of a cop out that I feel about like, I'm not going to upgrade because I'm better than that. No, this is an easy cop out because the iPhone 14 Pro, if you're coming from a 13 or a 12, honestly, it was okay. It was fun to play with it and try to get the dynamic island to be dynamic. I had fun with it. But if I'm being honest, the novelty wore off like that. It was like, all right, that's cool. One and done. The dynamic island just kind of... It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It lasted longer than that for me, but it did wear off.
It I don't know, man. I have an issue about just like overall hyping up gimmicks. Like you can sell me on it if we were able to. Here's a real. I'm sure we'll talk about it. USB-C thing, like, okay, that's a genuine upgrade. If we were to do something where we have front-facing cameras have the same, like, just build out the way the rear-facing cameras, that's a genuine upgrade for me. Stuff that actually has, like, applicable use cases for day-to-day is applicable for me. Dynamic Island's cool, but it doesn't change the way you actually use the phone or how you interact with it. It's just a cooler indicator about multitasking, but it doesn't change the foundation of what iOS does for you. So for me, I was like, okay, this is cool, but it's not
partially
$1,000
disagree. Cool. Only That's because it is nice having apps being stored up in the island. A good example is I listen to podcasts at work a lot. It's nice being able to just have that right there, that information right there. I never really do like the long press to like get it to be a widget. I usually just do the single press for it to open up the app and then I can adjust whatever, or switch to whatever thing. If I'm going from one podcast to another or from one song to another, I can do it there. But it is helpful, and it is nice to kind of see that information there. I never really have like 2 active apps on at the same time. Like they show it becoming a very giant eye hole in a way with having like a timer and music or whatever. I never really have that scenario, or I haven't had that scenario pop up yet. But it is, I would say it's a nice side grade in a way. It's a different way to interact with your iPhone now. Instead of having the notch up there, it's now a way to store some software or some options up there, in which I like it. It's a nice change of pace that I was looking for from the 11 Pro. And it is an upgrade in the camera department from that amount. And I think maybe that's what you're seeing is comparing it from your 13 to the 14. It's like there's not really much of a difference. Granted, it is a 48 megapixel camera, which is new. I think this is the first year of it, and they're still trying to optimize it. So maybe it just doesn't look to be the best it'll be, in which we had so many years of the 12 megapixel. We're going to have a whole lot more years of the 48 megapixel for how long we had. Years. It was 7 years of that. And then before that, we had the, what was that? The 6 megapixel or something like that? Or
I think it was 8 on the iPhone 6.
6 or 8 megapixel. And that was there for a bit. But I mean, it's a very long staircase that's becoming to where this next step with the 48 megapixel, we've got so many years for it to shine and become better. Which is good for you, Randy, because you're not ready to upgrade to the 14 the 14 Pro, because it doesn't make sense too, because it doesn't really have as many upgrades as you want. But the 15 or the 16 are going to have a lot more of those refinements in the software with the dynamic island and the software/hardware with the 48 megapixel camera. So it will shine eventually. I think this is just that small step upgrade that people like me needed, but people like you and Drew,
you definitely needed it from the 11. I would say, arguably, just from a battery perspective, you needed it because you got your money's worth out of it. Something Drew has talked about many times on his videos, and what we've gone a little bit more in depth on the show is that don't be expecting this major upgrade or update the same way. It's cool when we get them. Best example, like we're not going to get another iPhone 10 event for a long time. Don't expect that. But
ever, I would say.
Yeah, probably. So here's the thing. I guess where I'm getting at is that like everything will have like little upgrades over time. Even if the tech was ready now, they purposely sprinkle them out a little bit to refine them and get them right. And you're just gonna have a quality of life improvement by a marginal amount. They're marginal upgrades, all of them. The 11 to the Pro, not a big upgrade at all. UI, or not UI, but like design becoming a square body. Okay, fine, sure, but that's not actually quality of life improvement. That was just an aesthetic thing. 12 to the 13, same thing. All right, now we got photographic styles or cinematic mode, but doesn't really change much. Now from 13 to 14, dynamic island, and then 48 megapixel. But when you compare it side by side, you don't really notice it as like, this is worth it, which is why I don't like the whole wait till next year. Like, it's not worth it. Of course, none of them are going to be worth it. But when you space it out and you try to drag out your money's worth of that phone, the longer you hold on to it, the more it becomes worth it. And so I'm not trying to convince people to just stay on an old phone for the sake of stick it to the man. I'm saying when you know that time is right for you. I knew for me, I let go of the Mini to the 13 Pro Max because the camera quality was substantially better in every sense, from macro to even the Ultra. All that stuff did exactly what I needed to do, and I had no idea we were going to get the Ventura like continuity cam thing happening. I was like, this is great for what I do outside, period. And I was waiting to let go of the 12 Mini for that. Secretly kind of want the 13 Mini because it still do, almost everything besides macro. I'm like, okay, kind of want the 13 Mini. Not going to lie. I would rather put my money towards the 13 than a 14, not to stick it to the man or prove a point, but because it fits it works for me. Drew was going to hold on to the 12 Mini until they brought ProMotion. And it just so happens it was the following year. So that's what works for him. Nick is a person who's like, I have to have the best camera with me at all times because I need to be able to shoot, post in a quick amount of time as possible. And he nukes his battery like that. Good for Nick. Mike was a little bit more thoughtful about it. We all have different use cases that takes us at different points, but they're all quality of life improvements marginally, just marginally. I feel like it's a cop-out for me to say, I'm not going to upgrade, because it's easy to say, because there's not that much of an upgrade for me to say that. And I said, I'm not even going to review it, because when really I just didn't want to go through the hassle of returning it and going all that. But somebody brought a phone to me. All right, yeah, I'll take a look at it. Got the information I wanted out of it. I'm actually going to send you guys a photo right now. I just have to omit, private stuff. Like you'll see what I mean when I send you the photo. But
God, Randy.
Oh God! Why is it taking up the whole screen? It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness, that dynamic island.
So, like, I got what I wanted out of the phone to see. That's like, okay, it's cool enough, but at the end of the day, it's an
Yeah.
and I think that'd be like that for everything, really. Even USB-C. Okay, that's cool. Am I really going to be moving video files that frequently? Maybe, but I don't shoot in 4K on purpose because I like to have a more compressed, more expedient, movement and stuff like that. That works for me. But Drew, almost by branding, will have to do the 4K at 60 for at least tech, and until they do that right for a phone to give you a proper Blackmagic replacement, it's more of a convenience when you're on the move, but it won't be the full workflow replacement at that time. And having Thunderbolt on the phone might change it, but they're all quality of life improvements. We're at the point where it's so saturated with like all these phones are mature enough that you can really pick either one and make a case for any or all, except the iPhone SE. Let go of Touch ID. Just let it go, guys. You don't need it. You don't need it.
There's no argument for that.
Well, it's nice that you got to check it out, Randy. Did you get to check out just the one black one that you did, or
I did. And so now the photo that I had to take a screenshot because I'm purposely sending you a screenshot instead of the actual photo to even drive the point home more about where photos would go. This is the photo that was taken on the 14 Pro, and for all that data and stuff like you can't notice that. To me, I can't differentiate between that and a 12 or even 11 Pro. Probably I can't differentiate a genuine like point and shoot, unedited, done, here you go. And I try to look at it through that lens because we can obviously make a case for the best case scenario, but the realistic one is that, hey, everyone gets it. Like, we took a lot of photos inside the house for the baby shower, and we're like, hey, get in and do. And it was just, they're all shot on iPhones, but they were shot on iPhone 13s. Not even mine, but the 13 Pro. All of them were shot, and that was like, yeah, that's good enough. That's clean. And some of them did. Some of them had iPhone 11s, still clean footages, because they were like, I know my workflow about editing it and making it work. And so they made it work for them, and I'm like, I'm happy for you. More power to you. And that's the point that I really wanted to like humble myself on. That's like realistic. It's what Drew said like episodes ago, the whole at the graduation, hey, you want me to use mine? Why? No, just use mine. Like that's such a real use case that just lives rent free in my head. I'm like, that's how people really behave. So I try to act like that. I try to act like a normal person and behave like that. And like, if that's the truth, you can't really tell. But there's still cool upgrades, but I can't tell the difference.
Upgrades, people.
Until you pull up the metadata, you can't tell. And that's not a bad problem. That's a good problem. That's a good thing. So.
No, I agree. I'm with you there. But I will admit something I loved going back to was the Series 7.
Talk to me, man.
That. It's gone.
I missed the Ultra. What happened?
You miss it?
I miss it seeing it on you.
Oh. Well, it felt like I got a new watch when I switched back, which was bizarre. It felt like this was the new. I was like, "Oh, that's so much better. Like it's so much smaller. It's so clean. It looks a lot more modern to have such the thin bezel, and it feels a lot lighter, bizarrely. I mean, I guess it is smaller, but it's still steel instead of titanium. And I just felt right at home once I put it back on. And it kind of felt more square. You know, if you get used to a Series 5 or a 4 and then you go back to a Series 3, it feels boxier. It's because the corners aren't rounded as much. I had the same feeling going back to the Series 7 because the Ultra has very rounded corners. So Ultra to 7 makes it feel boxier again. It's like, oh, this is kind of squared off. But still, just such a full screen display on such a small watch. And the battery's still pretty good. So on the subject of being happy with what we have, I knew I made the right choice when I felt like I upgraded by going back to my year-old Apple Watch. I was like, whoa, this is so much nicer. This is cool. And the Ultra has a very good, very large addressable market, but I'm not in it. So
you
happy
watching your review of the Ultra has put something a little bit more realistic in my head, and that is maybe I will get a certified refurbished or something used, or maybe just third-party version of a stainless steel Series 7, and it would be cheaper, ideally, hopefully. I can't stress enough, I want the sapphire glass. I need the sapphire glass. That is now, going forward, a deal breaker for me. I need it. And I don't want to spend $850. That makes no sense.
It was
to me.
cheaper than I thought. Someone corrected me last week. The Ultra is $50 more than the large steel watch. So,
wow.
I still would like to save money and recoup as much because I would try to sell this one, and I would try to recoup as much as possible. And,
yeah.
For me, it's just the sapphire glass. That's I'm the target audience for that.
To surgically transplant the sapphire glass onto your green aluminum. Someone could transplant all of the insides and put
There's
it in
people
there.
that did the whole like gold-plated Apple Watches. They could probably do the same with the glass.
Or you could just like mask the glass on the steel watch and spray paint.
It's such a beautiful finish, the green, though, because it looks so much like the green iPhone 13, not Alpine, but the regular one.
That color's perfect for you.
I love it,
but
I don't want to let it go. That's why I'm dragging my feet. That's
it.
And I wanted I have to make a compromise in the sense that does everything have to have accent green, or do I actually want like good use out of this stuff?
Obviously.
But I'm proud of you for not even acknowledging the Series 8 as an option, because a lot of people online keep going, should I get the Ultra or the 8? And I'm like,
no,
wrong question. It should be refurbished 7 or Ultra, not the 8 should not be in consideration.
Amen, brother. This is our time of worship. We need to talk about this. I'm fully on board about certified refurbished if I can do that. If I can't, I will look for Amazon Renew, or I will even see if like somebody's got to be selling a new 7 stainless steel that is just cheaper now because
I found one the other day that was my exact spec, and it was pretty good.
You found it on
Apple.
Apple.
I'm probably in the same position as you, Randy, but certified refurbished Ultra, just because I keep on getting all these scratches, which again kind of hard to see on this wonderful camera that is the studio display camera that is way too wide to show any scratches or anything like that. We could put right here, but basically, I think I'll hold on to this for another year or so. I think in that amount of time I'll probably get a decent amount of scratches to where it needs to be replaced, because in some cases my finger it's feeling a little bit rough at times when I'm scrolling on it. So living out
why not
in the country.
Steel watch? Why the Ultra in particular?
Because I like the Ultra. I like the battery life of it, along with the shape of it. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that the bezels and the form factor make it so that the UI actually is a little bit more crowded or doesn't take advantage of the 49 millimeter size in a way. I guess it kind of comes down a little bit, but still, if either, I guess the point is, if next year they come out with another the Ultra Series 2 or whatever, and it has thinner bezels and has battery improvements, that'll be tough not to say no if it's coming at the same price.
Yeah.
And if not, then I'll probably just opt for a certified refurbished. You found it?
The one that Drew was talking about.
$549.
$549. There it is.
But you're not necessarily doing it for like action button or dual GPS frequencies or.
No, because I do hike.
Life.
I don't hike that much, but I do hike. So it would be nice to have that. I think it would be fun to have, like what you did, have the stopwatch on the action button. I've seen some funny things where people make the watch make a fart sound when they press the action button through the shortcuts and all that, or some other things. I think that'd be hilarious to do, like once or twice, make some fun little shortcuts for that action button.
Is this a Tesla?
Right.
I like
it's
it.
based on the Cybertruck.
That's
But yeah, I'm very much. I like the form factor. I did notice when I think your video came out, because I was at work, you said it could get caught in like sleeves or something like that. And at that moment, I was putting on a hoodie at work because it was a little bit cold. And I noticed just how nice my sleeves came on my arm just because my watch was so sleek, right? And I'm like, oh, it's not catching on anything. Where I was thinking like, ooh, if I had the Ultra, it might get caught on the little cuff where it comes up to your wrist and all that. So that's maybe one thing that kind of pushes me away. But I've been known to not really care too much about design and more about utility. So that's why I think certified refurbished Ultra Series 1, or if it's even going to have a series, because we don't know. But whether it's that or the Series 2 or whatever it is, is probably what my next watch is going to be. Assuming the Series 5 that I've got doesn't survive any longer than a year. But it's doing fine right now besides having to charge it almost... Well, it can get through a day, but it's not the best.
Maybe low power mode can help it. When that
Still waiting on it. When's that coming out?
next month or this month.
I thought it was out. Is WatchOS not out?
WatchOS is out.
Maybe I need to update it.
We got to figure this out. I thought it was out. It came out with iOS.
Yeah, but wasn't that feature coming later on in the year, they said?
Oh, I didn't catch that. Maybe it is. I've been on the beta so long, I forget.
Yeah, probably. No beta on the watch for me, so I don't know. I will say, Drew, something that you've brought more attention for me to analyze about the Ultra is not so much that the watch catches on things, but the sleekness of just a Series 7, for example. Because we're going to pretend the Series 8 doesn't exist. It's
not
a bad... That's not a thing. Series 8 is next year when they increase the chip. I don't know. I'm looking at side by side. I'm looking at the face of the Series 7 and the Ultra. And we were talking about, for the audience, we were talking about on EV today about how it takes a certain type of person to like a Tesla for its intentional absence of clutter. Thank you, Johnny. And looking at the Series 7, it's so stripped down in a way that I like. It calms me, and in the Watch Ultra is intentionally noisy. It's this almost distracting. And I look, I'm like,
I feel that. Yeah, the design is noisy.
The design is noisy. And it's meant to, like you were saying, why I said, like, you know, about your review that made me go, huh. It's intentionally meant to be so absurd because in the harshest of environments, you know where your watch is. You can make contact with it. You could do what you need to do with the watch. Whereas the last thing you want is for it to be hard for you to interact with, engage, or even find. And I'm not gonna go deep sea diving in the black abyss of the ocean. I'm not gonna go to the top of
100
Everest.
meters is black abyss, apparently.
I'm a bit obese in it. And the trail walk. I mean, I'll do the trail thing. I like going on trails. So substitute, running. I'm not doing all these. Maybe I do 5Ks, but I'm not going to do like marathons and stuff like that. I'll do trails, and that's cool. But honestly, I've been doing trails since Series 0, and I'm fine. Everything's great. Mm-hmm. So I like how clean the non-ultra is. It's not obstructing anything visually where I'm just like, oh, what is that? Kudos to the skip, by the way, about the watch when you're like, are you tracking your cycle? Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. I did notice a little improvement in the dual GPS frequencies because I don't do a lot of hiking, but on my run, I use the workout app to tap me when I hit the mile mark so I can time my miles.
Yeah.
And I was hitting my mile time at a different point in the run when I switched to the Ultra.
What does that mean?
So I'm guessing that I assume the Ultra is more accurate, and I assume it means that my Series 7 is not calibrated as well or not able to notify me when I've hit the mile mark as well. Because I run basically like the same loop in my neighborhood every time, and I know exactly when the Series 7 taps me, and then I switch to the Ultra, and it tapped me a little earlier. And I was like, I'm running more than a mile then. Or the Ultra's off, and it turns out the Series 7's more accurate. Even if that's true, then even more so to keep the Series 7. I don't know who's right. But I assume the Ultra would be... Yeah,
I think we can figure this
Mike's
out.
got his hat ready.
Oh, no.
My mile time's improved.
The elites want you to get it wrong.
The elites. The elites say the Series 8 is worth buying.
For those listening, I put on the tinfoil hat.
Yeah. We all got to get those. We got to have those ready.
I remembered this week.
I was really busy
surprised
this week.
None of you want the Pixel Watch, though.
I'm looking at it right now, and man, what a deal! $349.99.
I looked at Marquez's review or his impressions last night, and I was like,
"Me too."
Oh, that looks terrible." Like I'm trying to be unsheeped about it. I'm just looking at the watch. I would a million times take the Samsung over the Google Watch. I might.
Oh yeah. If we ignore Apple for a minute.
Yeah, pretend Apple
Pixel Watch is not.
Because be like, you're just being a sheep. Yes, okay, but now let's pretend I'm not. I'm all about what Samsung's doing over Google. That Pixel Watch just did not look.
Haptic crown, love that name by the way, but
Call it haptic.
It's an Audi. Like that crown sticks out so much, it bugs the heck out of me. It looks like it's not installed correctly when I was looking at it.
Oh right, yeah, it's not pushed in all the way.
It just doesn't look right to me whenever I see the crown sticking out. But the UI and seeing text on that screen could be so cut off with the just drives me nuts.
I like your comparison though, Randy, comparing it to the Galaxy Watch. I like the Galaxy Watch's flat design versus the Pixel's rounded design. You can do pretty good with either form factor, but just looking at some of the advertised faces and features that they have with the Galaxy Watch 5, and there's 5 of them already. I like the 2 buttons, and then the rest of it is you interacting with the screen, because you could get rid of the crown. I mean, the crown's nice. I like the crown on my Apple Watch, but it doesn't have to be there. You don't have to have a crown on a watch for it to have some functionality. And I think Google's tacking on of it for that functionality doesn't really bode well with its design, especially with the limited functionality it has with the oh goodness, basically they're going back on Google Fitness, right? And they're going with Fitbit, which is a little bit interesting to me.
Bit.
It is a bit
It's
interesting.
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Because I've owned a Fitbit and I've loved my 1 or 2 Fitbits that I owned.
I had the Blaze.
Is that the one that had the electronic screen, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make sense. The e-ink screen. Did it basically have an e-ink
Oh,
screen?
no, it was color. It
Okay.
had a color display.
All right. I had e-ink on mine, whatever it was.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the hard part. You have to try to figure out what it is, though I guess the same happens with Apple. Anyways, what I'm getting to is if I had to choose between those 2, or I guess 3 watches, if it was either an SE, Galaxy Watch 5, or the Pixel Watch, and I didn't have any Apple stuff, I'd probably go with the Galaxy. Because the Galaxy does have a nice striking design that captures that circular look very well, where the Pixel just, it looks, I mean, it's not bad to be cheap, but it looks cheap.
No, it just looks, I would say it looks dated.
Okay.
From the offset, it just looks like the bezel, the actual screen use that you get out of it, and they're making it a circle, so you're cutting corners literally on each side. Like, it's, I don't like. I think the battery. What they said, 4 hours. Did I hear that right?
24.
24.
I'm just imagining them say 4 hours of battery life.
And we give an industry-leading 4 hours.
They said up to 24, but the milliamp hour is under 300, which is not very good. So
It's not going to last that long. And that's also an estimated.
Let
When
me
they
find
say
out this
up
thing's
to-
like LCD2 or something. Yeah, up to means never again after the first day.
Also, why does it start at like $350?
because it's Pixel. Pixels have always been, other than the A series of phones, they've always been.
Because the Galaxy Watch, like, you have to spec it up to the Golf Edition just to get close.
The Golf Edition.
There's a Golf Edition.
I'll push up against you guys a little bit.
Let's do it.
think the Pixel Watch, to me, if we're just talking aesthetics, I think the Pixel Watch looks better.
You're wrong.
Fair enough.
Oh, no.
That's a good point.
Fair. Beautiful counter.
Looks like a bold strategy. I don't know. The bezels are not particularly
Buy high, sell low.
Gordon Johnson. I think the bezels on the Galaxy Watch are not particularly thin either. No. And while the haptic crown is not installed correctly, I like the concept of having a dial to scroll with opposed to swiping on the display or turning the bezel. I think Samsung doesn't do that right anymore. They got rid of the turning bezel.
They've got their hands in one promotional photo of it looking like it rotates, but I don't think it does. I think they've phased that out, and it's now just touchscreen or 2 buttons. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that. So I'm like, if you're going to copy the Apple Watch, you should probably just go all the way. Don't
that's the thing, right?
It.
Galaxy hasn't. They've kind of they've strayed from that path, and they're going their own path. And I think they're doing well. Pixel's trying to okay, maybe they're not, but what I should say
they're probably doing fine.
They're probably doing fine, but it's coming in at $350, and then also, it's just not. To me, it's not an appealing design. Both the bezels, the shape, the crown.
I like the shape. I like the rounded glass going off the edge. I feel like that looks cleaner than the sharp edge look of the Galaxy Watch, but
You're more
the
of a
bezel
bubble
ruins
guy.
it. I agree.
The
You
bezel.
like bubbles.
The bezel is thicker than pocket watches from 1903. Like, I remember testing
Boy,
I remember
bring it back to
testing,
1903. Holy cow!
the year of the airplane. Let me try to find it.
So the only promo photos that, and this is what was an indicator for me, the only promo photos that work with Pixel Watch is when everything's turned off but the time and whatever complications you have there,
which
is always an indicator that's bad. And like I don't do that. I have I want to see it go over the curve and stuff like that. So looking at the Google Watch, the Galaxy Watch. I know.
No.
I'm so
What's
bad.
funny, Randy, is in doing this, I looked up Google Watch and it brought up the Google Watch app, which is for watching movies and stuff. I'm like, this isn't right. What is it called?
It seems like with why I think I like Galaxy more than Pixel, and this is just within time. It all happens over time. You have more
I like
customization.
how we all have to go Team Samsung because we all have Apple Watches, so we're like,
right,
all right,
yeah.
Ignoring the real one.
You get more options and customizations with the Galaxy Watch, where the Pixel, like, guys, audience, go get an Apple Watch. Stop it. Just stop it. It's
the SE2 is
stop.
cheaper than
Get
the
some
Pixel
help.
Watch, just for
and it's so much better.
I mean, it's
every
I
sense.
think the Pixel Watch doesn't work on iOS and the Apple Watch doesn't work on Android, so I think it's fair that you guys are cross-shopping Galaxy and Pixel Watches because really no one is cross-shopping Apple Watches to Pixel Watches because it's like you have to get the one that your phone works with.
That's
at
right.
the end of the day. So that decision's already been made.
I think I just wish that like Pixel Watch took a risk. That's what I kind of wished I would have saw from that. Like I wish that they played it safe by going not the one I'm talking about. Don't do the circle I want Apple took a risk going square and made a case for it.
That's true.
Not there's a literal case, but yeah. I mean an actual like here's why this one works, and it was a bit controversial at the time when that happened. Like, why would you not make it circular? It's so much better. Like that's not how you engage with the watch, and it's just an aesthetic choice. But they took a risk, and it's also now synonymous to the branding. If you showed me from the distance a Pixel Watch and a Galaxy Watch, I would not. Like to the trained eye, maybe a bit like, oh, that one has the crown. But like you like, I don't know, that just looks like a watch. I don't know. And if you're going for that, I know why you like the Pixel over the Galaxy, Drew. I just from the cleaner aesthetic. But
if the display is off, it looks
if the
great.
display is off. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's too pricey. It didn't take a risk, and it's a Pixel Watch. I mean, the bezels are terrible. And it's a Pixel Watch. So
I think what kills me about the bezel, and some people, it's the first try. It's the first time. I reviewed a long time ago. Maybe OGs will remember this, but I just looked it up. June of 2016, I reviewed the Huawei watch. And you can see it in the thumbnail I pasted in the chat. Look at how thin the bezels were on the Huawei watch. And that's what I knew was possible 6 years ago now. So over 6 years ago. And to see that this product has just been unveiled, it's not even shipping yet. It's not been delivered yet. And this was what they came up with is like, that. I'm sorry. I get that we get hung up on bezels sometimes. And a lot of people's like, well, the bezel's a bezel. But when a device is that small, you are constantly battling for how much information or how much usefulness, how many widgets, how many complications you can have. So it's constantly a screen-to-body battle with watches because they're the smallest display you'll use on a daily basis. So
in
bezel
comparison
means
to this,
smaller.
Look at that. Just in comparison.
What is that? What did you post?
That was the
right?
That was
Isn't that the Galaxy Watch?
I'm hang on. I'm setting up everything
Hard
here.
to tell.
It's hard to tell.
All the Android watches look the same. Is that offensive?
That's exactly my point. I'm trying to
Drew's
make
now
here.
canceled again.
They all look the same. This is the point I'm actually trying to make though. Is now
the Pixel Watch does stand out a little bit compared to all of the Galaxy and Huawei watches having very similar designs.
You're wearing a giant bubble on your arm. It looks
that bezel like if you're gonna have the glass curve over like that bezel, no excuse.
What are these watches that you're finding?
That's the Pixel Watch.
The
right there.
one on bottom is
the one on
Pixel
bottom.
Watch.
Yes.
The
That's
one on
the
top
because of
is
the
the
crown.
Galaxy Watch.
Yeah.
You can tell.
The easiest
Now-
way to tell is the haptic crown on the Pixel Watch is at 3:00.
Yeah.
Pretty much no other Android watch has that design.
I'm showing these photos in comparison to Drew's thumbnail. That the Huawei watch, that's a clean looking.
It was a good
design.
watch, for the record. I think I said good things in my review. I liked it.
I like it. If you want that more traditional vibe, that's a good looking watch. And then look at the bezels that you're working with on the Pixel Watch at the very bottom with the neon green ugly. I'm just that highlighter yellow green look. I just don't. I just wish they just took more of a risk. This is not this is a risk that's not good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it? I
the
feel
amount
bad
of
that
information that I put
yeah.
on my watch, it is insane.
Yeah.
I've got like a decibel reader. I've got a compass. I've got my rings.
that's one of the
got
most popular watch faces, by the way.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love it because I'm able to see so much information. And it's like, okay, is it going to rain? No, 0% chance of rain. But it's going to be like sunny. It's going to be around this temperature around this time, and I don't have to open up anything. It's just at a glance versus like I look at how much space you have on the Pixel Watch, and it's also circular. You're going to have to make everything curved, so you're kind of having to like try to reorientate. Anyways, you're trying to read the information. It's harder to read the information in the orientation that is compared to what it was before.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely a downgrade if you're looking for a smartwatch and you're more fluid or flexible with changing your ecosystem.
You want my advice, Google? I'm sure you don't, but I'm going to tell you. You probably would have been better off making the squared off Apple Watch that everyone wanted. And just because Apple didn't make that, so room for you to enter the market there. Make a rectangular watch with the flat edge design, thin bezels. I guess that wouldn't match the pixels as much, but
I
I
just
just
make
think that,
Apple look like the odd man out with a weird bubbly design.
right. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel bad that I can't tell what they changed between the Pixel 6 and the 7, other than the camera
Metal
bump
back.
used to be all glass. Now it's metal with the eye hole. And other than that, I'm like, what did you do? The chip is newer. Okay, the display
that it?
120. The Pro is 120. This non-Pro is 90. What? Like, is that it? Like, I couldn't get through the recap video. I knew for sure as heck I wasn't going to watch the event, and I thought, well, everyone's asking me to talk about it, so I tried to watch The Verge's 14-minute supercut, and I couldn't get through the supercut. I got bored so quickly. There's just, you know what I think the problem is? I don't think Google's excited about the Pixel. Watching the presenters and watching them like unveil the design via PowerPoint slide, it's like Apple is crazy. We know this. Like, Apple worships themselves, right? They basically built this futuristic solar-powered church that they all congregate in when they do these events. And Tim Cook talks about how the new iPhone's gonna save lives, and it probably will. But ultimately, they are high on themselves, and it shows. Especially like the meme that got me to laugh really hard was Snazzy Labs tweeted out a still from the AirPods Pro 2 demo where it's the spatial audio and all the stars are like shaking, and that one presenter's like, AirPods Pro have the best noise cancellation, and it's all vibrating, and he just tweeted a still of that out and he said, it's not a cult. And she's like, her hands are spread out like this, and all the spatial audio stuff is like, Apple goes to such extreme measures to like showcase their hardware, like how overkill the Apple Watch Ultra unveil was, where they were treating it like a mountain. The digital crown is rotating and there's like a landslide of ice and snow falling off it, and you can tell they blew like $3 million on this 5-second video. And they just go all out on the designs because they're like, we put so much work, and like we went to the nth degree to test this. And Google's event, like the auditorium they're presenting in, looks like it's like the back of a Starbucks or something. It's like kind of small. They have
Small
it on
stage
like
thing. I mean, granted to them, they were on a stage actually presenting stuff, which is a nice return to form. Though I guess they did
not
it last
that
year.
Stage though. I don't want
Not
that one. That's like the theater on the left you go to when you're watching a movie that's been out for 4 months and you go into the tiny theater.
That's the stage
I know exactly.
that the B side, when you go to a concert like a festival, and they got the main stage and then they got the smaller B side stage. That's
how it felt to me. And again,
Yeah.
I was watching the supercut, and it was like everyone on stage was like, "We're so excited to unveil." Like dead.
This is great. Wow.
We're so excited to show you something you've never seen before, and it definitely didn't leak by us to build
why-
up hype.
I
Ladies
don't
and
get why
gentlemen,
they do that. It completely ruins
the iPhone 7 Pro.
It
Wow.
completely ruins any hype or
For
anticipation when you unveil the design like 6 months earlier and everyone's seen it, and then you go there and you're just like, next slide.
Dude, you're right.
It has
Google
a
does
camera.
not care. They don't.
They're,
care.
they're
there's
just not
nothing-
excited.
They don't
As
care.
a caveat, the one thing that I think they do care about, or I thought was amazing, was their tablet and the way that you can stick it onto a hub and you can use it as a smart hub or as a speaker system or whatever. Like, I thought, that's pretty neat. That's a great thing. I think that was a good idea.
They're putting tablets in their place.
I don't agree with that. I don't like it.
You don't like being
I
able to
kinda
put
liked
your
it,
tablet on a speaker stand, which amplifies the sound coming out of it, and you can use it as that kitchen interface or whatever,
don't-
or counter
So, Mike,
interface.
I didn't get to that part. Does it? I'm sorry. I fell asleep before that part of the super.
What's even funnier is you're assuming that I've watched it. I have not.
Okay,
I
I think more people watched MQBHD's video than the actual event.
Right.
Safe to
That's
say,
what I
because-
watched. Because I'm like,
At least if Marquez is talking about it, it's kind of interesting. But if Google's talking about it, it's like,
Ew.
oh, better
Don't talk to me
idea.
about it.
Google, Marquez should do the events. You would get more screen time.
He
with
has
Marquez.
genuine excitement about it. You
He's
need
more
someone to
interested in the Pixel than Google is. But I was looking for, like, what did they do with the camera? What is it? It's a 50 megapixel that
Yep.
you can zoom in
Yep.
to get a 2x
At
with
2.5?
I was like,
No, 5X. Something like that. They did.
was that
so
not
there's
what
some-
it was? I thought that's what it had.
You thought wrong.
I guess it didn't have that.
I did like Marquez's approach though in his video. He's like, "Here's the specs. You can pause the video if you want to check them out. I'm just gonna keep on talking." Which
I
is
wanna
how
know
you
who
do
paused the
a
video.
presentation. Is you present the information, but you continue talking, and you don't get people confused on it. Like if they
Everyone
want to
at
get
that
into the
event
tech specs,
felt
they
so
can.
bored.
Yeah.
The
'Cause they
presenters.
don't- What's new? What's different? Why should I care?
So,
That's it.
let me just tell you why I don't like their tablet, though. And I'm disappointed in you, Drew. I'm disappointed why you're not on the side with me. It has white bezels. Come on.
Well, we didn't get to that part yet. I was on board with the subject of turning an iPad into a home hub.
What are
Oh
you talking about? It's got black bezels.
no, it doesn't.
Not the one
I'm
in
looking at one with black
MQHD's
bezels.
video, which is the source
Hang on.
we're referring to.
I'm going straight from Android Central. Wait, look, I'm not
I don't
even
think
using.
that the tablet's not even been, like, they haven't said the price or anything yet. They just said they're making a tablet at some point.
Oh yeah, you're right. They didn't. That thing. It
Like,
just.
it's not been really unveiled. They just said that they're going to do a tablet that can also be a hub, which I don't agree with the
Interesting.
white bezel.
If that's true, if this is true, what I'm looking at, this is some iPhone 6 hoopla. That
Hoopla.
hoopla. I'm trying really hard not to curse because
it has a smart connector. I missed that.
Yeah, it's got a smart connector on the back, which I think is great. I think it's smart. As a smart connector.
That idea is worth exploring,
Stop
in
it.
my opinion, since I mean,
Look at those bezels.
I don't care. The audio listeners can't see this. In the group chat, Randy posted a picture of a Pixel tablet with white bezels, and Mike posted a picture of a Pixel tablet with black bezels. And I don't know who's right, because on the website, all they show is pictures from the back. So I don't think Google's decided either.
I promise you, I'm pulling this one straight from Android's main. Look, hey, Mike might be right. The black one might have the black bezels, and the white one has the white bezels. And in that case,
that's what Apple used to do
that's why they're wrong.
until they got smart.
The bezels are still thick, and they're ugly. There's no stylus support.
We don't know the price yet.
It's going to be like $500 or something, or $600 or something dumb that does. It needs to be $3. Make it $3.
Marquez said it'd be $499, but he was guessing, and he's not super good at guessing prices. But
anyways, I think
you think
the
300?
idea,
Make it 300.
It could be anything at this point. Google has all the money in the world. But I do think it's a smart idea, being able to just have that speaker stand up there, which maybe it just serves kind of like a HomePod or a Home Mini, where it's just outputting music because it's got those speakers and you can smart connect to it through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. But then you can physically smart connect to it with magnets with your small iPad. Or if you have an old, this is me saying if Apple wanted to adopt this in their own way, be able to attach your old iPads like the 2018 or anything like that to it because it's got the connector. It would be pretty cool. But I know that they won't do that because that's Apple. But I guess I'm just really excited over the idea of having a home speaker that you can attach a device to, and it integrates into it, and it becomes a better device just by sticking an extra $600 device onto it, which makes sense, but still.
I'm absolutely grotesque at us for literally covering the Google event right now. Like,
really?
If this became,
we could talk about Twitter.
Okay, so about Google. So Google, right? Like, you guys want to hear from an Apple sheep's perspective. I'm not trying to just blindly crap on this thing. I'm just, it feels. I think Google has their hands in too many pots at once, and they just. I think they just don't care because they're too. It's the same problem that Samsung has. Honestly, the Apple wins because their business, their company kind of rides on this. Like, they'll say it doesn't ruin the service, but it's iPhone. Like, they get so excited because they are hardware and now software and now services company first, whereas like Google is a search engine first. Alphabet is an ads campaign on steroids, and Samsung has refrigerators.
They run the internet, basically.
They run the internet, and they Google fights with AWS. Like they have like Amazon, and like they're too big, and Apple's too big in a different way. But the thing is like, they're not excited about this in the same way, where they're not taking risks because this can go belly up and they don't care. Or they just be like, they're going to shut it down like Stadia. They'll just shut it down. This is not the first tablet we've like, ooh, new tablet.
I think this is the third rebrand of Google tablet I've seen in my lifetime.
Yes.
I remember do you remember before the Pixel 1, they had the Pixel C?
I do. Wait. No, hang on. Maybe I don't. Let me take a look at this.
The C was the one you'd knock on. You would knock on the back, and it would have a battery. I know I'm not the only one who remembers this.
Oh, the tablet.
It was a tablet made by Google.
It's a docked. It
was in 2015.
Yo.
And that didn't work out.
It's a rabbit. It's a duck.
And keep in mind, everyone, the Pixel C was before the Pixel Slate, which was the worst tablet of all time, objectively decided on by all people. There's never been a
airplane came before the fighter jet, which came before. I'm lost now in regards to
was
what
this
Google
Google's
sells.
response to Microsoft's Surface 2-in-1 thing? It's very
You could say that.
Microsoft-like. Yeah.
But it didn't have a trackpad. It was just keyboard.
Yeah, you're right.
It
Okay, so it's
magnetically
closer to
attached
iPad.
Yeah. And on the back, it had a battery light indicator that you would knock on the back and it would tell you the battery life. It was so stupid. But that didn't work out. Slate didn't work out. And now we're hearing next year they want to do it again. And that's why I guess I have like a hard time trusting. Like, the concept is interesting. I haven't seen someone showcase that of like, we should make a smart speaker that also is a tablet dock that charges. And I've been talking about Apple should do this for a while now, like making a HomePod with a display. That way you can see the doorbell. If someone rings it, it shows up. You can have a video call, especially once they introduce Center Stage. I was like, Center Stage would be perfect on a smart speaker if you tracked around with you during FaceTime calls. Mm-hmm. And rather than designing a HomePod with a display attached, it would probably make a lot more sense to design a smart speaker that could magnetically, and maybe that's what we need wireless charging iPads for. Maybe that's what they're prepping, or maybe it's a smart connector that needs to be repositioned, and we'll see that on the new Pros or something. But then it's a $1,000 iPad that you dock and use as a hub for your... I mean, it's a start. Maybe it'll work its way down to the cheaper iPads, but it's kind of degrading in the idea that, well, tablets are useless, right? So let's put them on our smart speaker. That's where they go. They can just stay at home.
It is degrading.
Because the only
That's
issue
the
I
truth,
see
though.
with it is, like, if you're docking it to a speaker, but when you take it off the speaker, how do you mount it? You know, do you have to get the folio cover and put it back on? Do you need the kickstand? You just got to hold it?
How often have... Besides, well, actually, this is a really bad example because on camera I was using the iPad, but I never take it off of the keyboard. It always has a home because it's just convenient. It's a separate screen. It's all that and the other.
You keep it propped up.
There you go. Keep it propped up.
Yeah, I bought a third-party thing.
That's cool. I like that.
It's not bad.
That's a really cool looking thing.
It ain't costing too much, or it didn't cost too much. But anyways,
hey, listen, I already said if my iPad Pro broke, I would get the mini, but realistically, I think I would just not go with iPad. I would just let go of that OS as a whole. I wanted to like, by the way, the Pixel Slate. I wanted to like it, and I want to like Google just because when people get creative, and that's where like they take risks. Everybody wins in those situations. I like competition. That's the American in me, I guess. I don't know, but these implementations of tablets as a whole, just like Google is just trying to respond now to that's what it is. They're just playing catch up. I don't think they really care. They just like, here, it's there. Because they're like, we got the best voice assistant. We got the best search engine. We got like everything is like software for them. They're a software company first. That's why the Pixel
web-based services.
Yeah, that's
all
is
their
good.
stuff.
Yeah. They're good because they've been doing it since the 90s. More power to you. This hardware game...
1903, according to Drew.
Well, maybe. Yeah. No.
That explain many things.
Yeah. In a different universe, maybe. I like that they're at least doing something, but it's like... Now it's like, all right, taking bets. When is this going to get discontinued? I feel. Honestly, I felt the Pixel was getting discontinued. I thought that was happening or rebranded to something else. I actually thought that was happening.
Interesting. I think the Pixel will stay around for a little bit longer. But I do agree, stuff like the tablet on the little HomePod type of thing, it will get discontinued in the next 5 or 10 years. But I'm still excited over the idea of a product like that. In which, like you said, usually you like to have your iPad or Surface or whatever, your tablet, propped up, in which I do too. But a lot of the time, I don't have this stand with me. It's not carried with me to work in all places. Yeah. And I think that's maybe the beauty of what a tablet is. It is a flat surface that you can place anywhere, and it'll sit there, and it'll stay, and it'll be fine. But the marketing could have been better from what I can tell from what I've read in a couple of reports, and then also what it seems like Google's trying to convey. But I like the brutal honesty of it. Of yes, tablets are kind of just sitting there not doing anything. Why not use it as a smart hub, right? It ain't a bad pitch in a way.
Because their Nest speakers are selling pretty well. So they're trying to incorporate the Nest stuff into the tablet stuff. That's clever.
And then they can finally kill off Nest. Or at least the Nest speaker in that regard. Kill that off because they want to kill everything off.
They continue things they buy. They discontinue things they start. So the
FitBit.
Nest part. Yeah.
I think that was a lot of not litigation. It's a lot of companies butting heads in that manner of like Google saying, well, let's assimilate you into our system. And Fitbit's like, no way, we're not doing that. We're staying as we are, even though you own us. You're not getting rid of us with our name and all the things that we've started. You get to keep it. You get to adapt it into your
What
thing.
the heck is... I heard for the first time yesterday the term FitBit Premium. What?
I jumped off
What
that.
is
It's
that?
like Apple Fitness Plus.
Is that what it is? Is it workout
so.
videos?
I don't know. That was me just assuming.
Because I never heard it.
I looked it up, and the answer is...
Turn your Fitbit stats into personalized health and fitness guidance.
Advanced sleep
Deeper
and stress
personalized insights.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, dear Lord.
That sounds like a worse idea than I thought.
$80 a year.
So it's graphs?
It's worse than we thought.
I would suggest go get a nutritionist and a
just
personal
data.
trainer. If you want,
I'm looking at their site right now, and it looks like just a bunch of like sleep here.
You get a wellness report. You get a stress management score breakdown. You get premium challenges.
It's like a FICO score for your diet.
Advanced skin temperature details. Did you know at 3:05 today, your wrist was 97.2 degrees? I don't know what the temperature is on your skin, but you get 200 plus more workouts. You get blood.
$10 a month.
A sleep score breakdown.
Sleeping score.
You got an 89 out of...
I'm ranking up those sleep score points.
Joke's on you. I'm dead. I win.
I would have such a low sleeping score.
Oh, no.
Man, that Apple's going to do that too, and I'm going to hate it when they do it as well. So
that will release when they finally allow for group workouts or group challenges and all that.
You know what Apple's Google abandonment thing is? Why have they not fixed FaceTime? Group FaceTime?
Oh, yeah.
Why
think
is
it's not that bad. It's just that it messes up when you use OBS at the same time, which always we're trying to do.
Well, maybe it's fixed with the new update.
We wouldn't know if they fixed it.
We haven't touched it. Maybe when Ventura comes
just
out.
too reliable.
I will wait until everyone's on Ventura and at least one patch update goes out, and
should be soon.
Yeah, I will wait. Then I would not be opposed to revisiting just to see, but I have trust issues. OBS, like if I have to prioritize anything, FaceTime is at the bottom. OBS takes the priority over everything, and Discord is our means of making that connection. But if Discord didn't work, then I would move everything to the iPad, like the olden days where we would have a separate source of communication and then just have OBS be OBS. On the note of OBS, this is kind of tech related. On the note of OBS, does your guys' video feed look cleaner with the update that you guys got?
I updated like a month ago, so I don't notice,
well, this update I got, I can't help but know. I'm trying to figure out something here, and maybe you guys could, if you know, then know. But I am more detailed, crisp with contrast and everything like that on OBS than I am on Discord. At least what it looks like. unless I have to look at the playback afterwards. I haven't done it on the EV one yet, but I know that I've made adjustments on the camera itself with the filters, but the filters have nothing to do with video. The filters have nothing to do with just doing continuity camera, or so I think. Maybe, and the other thing is I'm looking at my settings for the continuity camera, and the only thing is studio light. Here we go. Blinding. Ew, look at that. That's gross. So, I know. Look at all those pimples. But, there we go. Better. But the thing is that, like, OBS is making the footage look sharper, so I didn't know if that was part of the update. I don't know. If I'm the one who's experienced it, then maybe it's
I don't really see on my end.
Placebo.
Probably, because, I mean, I'm one to talk as well because I'm on the studio display camera, which has very terrible quality because it's stretched the image and then zoomed into it because that's just the angle that it looks at. I look a lot better on the Discord preview or video or whatever, but that's because it's a smaller screen. It's a little bit more compressed compared to the OBS viewfinder that I've got on my screen as well. So
I'm sending you a screenshot so you could see the details I'm talking about, like crispness and stuff like that. Like that's. I'm not talking about fuzziness. I'm talking about.
That could be a meme template right there.
You've made everything I've had a meme so far. Every screenshot you've grabbed. Mike is so quick to like snap something from my streams, like, and that's a meme, and he sends me links of me saying weird things. Anyway,
so great. I don't have enough time in the day to make everything a meme, but I do find the source material quite pleasing. Anyways.
All right. Yeah.
This makes me excited for Ventura, though. I'm ready to try continuity camera again with the podcasts and the streams. And I like the new system preferences. Sorry, but I think it looks good. I know some people don't like it, but I don't care.
I got used to it. It's not that bad. Once you know how to...
It's not bad at all.
How to move around your... like system up, like a lot of things that I used to have to go to about this Mac at the top left corner, and now that's just a an info card that gives you your serial number and all that. Like it's nothing more. When you hit more info, it sends you to that part of the system preferences anyway, or system settings. Excuse me. I got used to it. It's not bad. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine.
People were getting mad at how hard it was to check your RAM slots, but I was like, most of these Macs are on Apple Silicon now, so I don't think it should matter.
I thought Ventura cuts off after a certain point where people wouldn't be able to check their maybe Mac Pro.
Yeah, you can on some, but most Macs are not. Most people aren't checking that anymore, even if they had them.
Yeah. If you're caring about RAM slots over the computer you're using, you might. I think it might be time to reevaluate. You might want to reevaluate the computer you're using, because I don't think any M chip has RAM slots.
No, definitely not.
Get off.
And most of the computers that Apple sold before the M chips didn't have really that many RAM slots.
Yeah, that's up like in 2014 or something, I thought. 13, 14,
you could still
15?
do it on the Intel iMacs.
Yeah, my 2015 had it, but that was not compatible with this update. That didn't get Ventura, so.
I think some of the 2018, 2020 iMacs still had the RAM slots, but I don't think they are not the majority, so.
No.
See,
they took some liberties there, but.
I came to the light side, dark side, whatever you want to call it, to make things a little bit more simpler, so I don't have to think about RAM slots. So I don't know what you people are thinking in regards to RAM slots on your Mac when you want to be more concerned with the giant brick that is the RTX, was it 4095 or whatever the
4090
brick is? 4090, I was pretty close. That thing, yikes. I don't know if you've seen it, Randy. It's thicker than a Xbox Series
bowl of
S.
oatmeal.
I saw the meme.
It is massive.
I saw the meme about it. I like the meme.
It's larger than a PlayStation 4.
It's insane.
and the Dubai building.
Oh, the Burj Khalifa.
It's taller than the Sky Mile Tower they're gonna build in Japan. But I think it's probably like 100. It's gonna pull like 100 watts of power. You're gonna need the Tesla connector to power your PC in a few years as they keep beefing up these GPUs.
As soon as you plug it in, your
supply.
electric bill just skyrockets up to $400 plus.
You're gonna
have
kill
a special energy tier for that. Please game during off-peak hours.
There's the EV tier for like PG&E or other companies. They've got the RTX tier for those who have the RTX 4090.
You plug that in, and you're gonna have a power outage in your neighborhood.
Pretty much.
Done.
On the back,
Down.
they don't have the 110 plug anymore. It's just a CCS port. Just thunk. 350 kilowatts to handle your RTX 8040, whatever they got by then.
I don't know why it needs a power generator going on over there, but I just hear it constantly. Like
Powerwalls had a large uptick in demand.
Is there a jet turbine in your room? No, Mom, it's just my RTX 4090. I swear.
it's the white noise that helps me sleep at night.
Probably an effective heater, too, when it's cold.
It's also my existence, Mom. This is just it. It heats me. It provides me entertainment. Just by size.
At least we all switched over our assets to crypto.
Right, Randy? Right? Crypto man?
I took a very small risk. It might have been a lot of money to some people, but I took a very small risk. At this point, at least I don't have to sell anything because it's all worthless. I might as well don't lose anything by holding on to it.
And man, is
We'll
he
see.
great at math.
We'll see.
That's the equivalent of that was me buying high, sell low. I haven't sold it yet. It could get lower.
Me with my canoe stock. It
Yeah.
could
You
go
guys
lower.
in your or not Rivian, you and your
Please don't.
Canoe and Aptera. No, they're not public, are they? Or
No,
are they
they're not.
public? Yeah.
They're private.
Hats off to Aptera.
Yeah,
Thank
stay
you.
private.
But hey, speaking of going private, did you guys hear about Twitter?
Hey!
And we're done for today, everyone. It's been a great podcast.
Thank you for tuning in.
Wait. Let me just say.
Here comes
Not the whole Twitter acquisition with the. I'm saying Twitter they're doing some updates I'm not really vibing to. I don't know if you guys have experienced it. The whole GIF and photo and all that's cool. But like videos, when you upload a video, if you just watch a video, now saying swipe up for the next video, I don't like where this is going. That is not what I want. And some people are like, hey, I can edit tweets now. And editing tweets, once you edit the tweet, it logs how many likes and retweets and comments it had from the old one, and it starts a new count. That's basically just writing a new tweet with a log now, and it still doesn't fix editing a tweet at all.
But the old one goes away. You don't see that one when you're
no,
following
if you
click version history, you do, but you have to
wouldn't
open the
wanna
tweet
know?
to get there.
But it gives you a brand new log of people. So
Well, yeah, that was the concern. People were scared that if you posted a tweet that got a lot of likes, you could change the tweet, and now everybody liked a tweet that said something else. So they added the version history. I thought that was fine. I just hate that it's a paid tier. I don't think editing should be a paid perk.
I think
No other site does that. But
it's
you
going
can
away
edit
though,
your
right?
Post.
Like
That's not
eventually
what I
it's
heard.
gonna. Oh, is it just gonna be Twitter Blue exclusive? Yo,
I thought that's what it was.
That's
Well,
right.
maybe
it is
I read
right.
it wrong.
That's what it is right now. But no, this is bad. This is.
I think
not-
they're going to
they
wait and
mentioned that
see
in
how
the
many.
past.
What's that?
I think they mentioned in the past about Twitter Blue only getting the edit button around the time when Elon was originally going to buy Twitter.
All they said was yes, we are. It wasn't an April Fool's joke. Yes, we are working on an edit, and they showed you a GIF of it, and that was it. They were very ambiguous
Should not
on
take
purpose.
as long as it did. That was like
No.
the simplest simplest thing. I don't understand why that took so long, but
So
either
they're
way,
making
no
they're making some
social
steps.
media site charges extra to edit text. Like, I don't get that at all.
No, you'll never get
False.
Twitter here.
GoDaddy app. GoDaddy app
app.
charges you extra to do extra things, but
To
that's
change
just
the
in-app
font.
purchases. Yeah,
But
right.
that's not like to change the characters. That's
I
like, there's a
just
typo.
want to say, Twitter. I'm talking to you directly, or Elon, I guess. You could put anything behind a paywall, all the coolest stuff, longer videos, higher fidelity uploads, an edit button, whatever. You will never get a penny from me. Ever.
Yeah, me neither. I'll just have typos. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Out of principle.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if you're not paying for iCloud, you sure as heck ain't paying for Twitter Blue.
I wouldn't pay for it if it was a penny a month. Doesn't matter if it's a penny a month or
You don't deserve
$500 a
my
month.
dime a year.
It's not an
No.
app
Your
I would
crypto
pay
coin.
for.
No. That's what
Costs
happens
one
when
crypto
Elon
coin to edit.
becomes the owner. Everything gets moved over to Doge. Oh, but it'll cost you one Doge. I wouldn't give you anything that costs money. No. You're already buying me with your ads. I'm not going to pay for you to...
He said it's his master plan to convert it into X.com, the super app.
The super app. I think he's just blowing smoke out of his butt. I think he's full of it. Yep.
I don't
There.
think he is.
I don't think
not
so
saying it's a
either.
good
It's
idea.
crazy enough to be a Musk idea.
He,
Did you
he's
see his
been
interview
in...
from the Kilowatts?
No. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't
What
watch-
interview?
What?
They posted a clip on Twitter, I guess, that was cut from the interview, but there was a point where he was like, in China, everybody uses WeChat. Like, you can just live on WeChat. There's news, there's payments, there's texting. Like, you use WeChat for everything, and we don't have that kind of super app that they do there. And my goal was just to buy Twitter, turn it into WeChat for America, which is a super app that does encrypted texting and payments and news and everything. Like, you just have one app that is the public square of the internet.
Kind of what
And,
Facebook tried to be
yeah,
with Marketplace
less
and everything.
cringy.
Yeah.
Somehow. But I'm okay with after Meta bought WhatsApp and Instagram, it's like, yeah, it's probably good to have some competition in that field so that Meta doesn't own every major social media. And yeah, it's
So is it
fun
just
to
going to
watch.
become Meta versus X at this point? Is that what's going to happen in like 2023 or 2024?
I think the smartphone world is all Samsung and Apple. That's pretty much everybody. Kind of the same
companies. Ugh.
And
It
then when
turns
it comes
into
to
two big
online
companies.
services, it's either Microsoft or Amazon for their web services.
Mm,
So
it's natural. It is
yeah.
only natural.
it's only
Oh my
natural.
gosh.
You wanted revenge.
He shadow banned your tweets and you wanted revenge.
We're ending it how we started with Star Wars. I love it.
I can't believe Steve Jobs would have been 67 years old today.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
That's right.
Man, he died for a young guy. That was like he was
Wasn't that old?
he was young for an older guy. That's crazy. 60 What? I'm just saying.
He was young for an older guy.
Like for an old like that's young for the AARP. What, guys? I'm just saying cancer's a B. There.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to
Sorry.
say. Imagine what would Steve think about this? Steve would laugh at all this at all of what's happening in everything. He would genuinely be like, well, he's just a lazy son of a, and just go off.
He was kind of a classy accomplishment guy. He had no engineering skills, but replace all of Elon's engineering skills with charisma, and you get Steve Jobs. Like,
Yeah.
he was so slick. He was just he knew how to answer every question with the most cool guy response. Like, we don't ship junk. You know, like he could just throw shade left and right. Someone should make a movie out of this. He just had so much like that, and it reflected in his products. The products were so
I'm disappointed.
Slick, they were so cool.
Like, what, sir? What do you say about this being selling for that? But it's like, well, we say that some people in our industry would ship things that we would not be proud of, and we don't ship junk. And that was like, listen, a vicious businessman with how everyone loves to highlight the horrors of how he talks to people, all people, but it takes that type of...
It was horrifying because it was calculated and sophisticated attacks.
Yeah.
It was like...
You need that type of neurotic...
Skin.
Yeah, he would say things like,
Personal.
You know what, Drew, I don't care that the fact that you're losing your hair right now, that you're going to get this done. Like, why'd you talk about my hair?
Yeah, well, you got to go there.
Now that I've broken you down...
Get personal and offensive.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I remember, I think this was in one of the books. I don't know. But like how you win Steve is by action, not maybe even presentation. Some guy does an interview with Steve and the executive board about making his case about using something, and they all laughed him out of the room saying, we're not going to do whatever. Meets up with this guy like in the hall or in the elevator, and does and has like a second elevator pitch only because they saw him work on the genie effect of minimizing windows and maximizing windows, and they loved that technology. So they're like, wait, show me that. And then they just suck down up. It's like, yeah, it's animation. This thing that I was working on. Come here. And they hired him. They took him on board. They brought this guy on board, and they put the little genie effect when you're on your dock that's still there to this very day. When he lost the interview, they made fun of him to his face. They laughed at this guy to his face. Not like they're like, no, that's not. No, we don't want that. Get out of here, dummy! Look at you, little four-eyed dweeb. Leave. And then he goes out. You know, that's how I assume they talk. And then bump into the hall, and he's just like, man, all right, I didn't get it. Fine, maybe I'll go talk to Google or Microsoft or what. And like, hey, wait. And he just had his little presentation on his laptop. On this little thing he's coding, and then they saw the minimized window thing, and they hired him on the spot. They're like, oh, never mind. Wait, we like that. Never mind what you're trying to tell me about Adobe or whatever. No, we like this. Uh-huh. So that type of neurotic behavior moves the needle. It just does. So
it's demanding.
Yeah, he's weird. Like when people try to emulate him, he's like, you're not. You get that, Elizabeth Holmes girl? Like, when you just try to emulate, like, then you go to jail. But if you try to just be authentic to what your vision is, I mean, her vision was stealing money.
And then you go to jail.
And it worked. And then you go to jail. This guy was definitely one of a kind. And they will say that about Elon as well, whatever happens with Twitter. I mean, they've already said it now with cars. If he dies young as well, which I hope he doesn't. I don't want anybody to die, but... if something was to happen to him, he's like, I'm going to go to Mars. Here I go. And then the rocket explodes, and that's his legacy. He already moved everything forward in just the electric world as a whole. People look at everything like, how can we make this more efficient?
And the rocket world. Yeah.
And the rocket world. They made space flight cool again. He did that. So... yeah, like people will say that about neurotic people, and then they're going to villainize. They villainize Steve. Elon's going to get villainized for everything. I like you, Drew. I think we said this on the other podcast. I don't really like Elon like that. I don't care for him, but I don't have to like him. He makes great companies that give me things that I like, and he makes my stocks very happy. Except for today of recording this, that's very sad. But that has nothing to do with the guy. I don't care. I don't care if he's a misogynistic abuser.
Giant crazy things. They don't attempt those giant crazy things. So typically the people that are up at the top are because they think differently or treat people differently, or
sure,
they don't think the way normal human beings do. They're
Nope.
kind of crazy
Very
in
true.
that way.
Listen, y'all, people don't have to like. That's the thing. I don't like this guy. Screw him and the horse he rode in. I'm like, no, like, what does that? how does that affect your life as a whole? Just in general, like if you allow these people who don't even know your name, who don't even know you exist, don't even care about you, to get in your head like that, people have to reevaluate what they deem as relevant information or what's a priority to them in their life, because you don't know him. He doesn't know you. I don't care. I could not care less what Bill Gates has done with Melania, whatever. Like at the end of the day, there's a great alternative with I used Microsoft for years. They have great apps with the 360.
Do you mean Melinda?
What'd I say? Wait, what did I say?
You were totally fine.
Oh, well, all right. So Bill and Trump, they're all the same. Yo, what if that
Rich
was
people,
like?
am I right?
I just broke like. Wait, Bill did what with who? Hold up.
I can't believe Jimmy Carter is 98 years old now.
I can't keep track of all the billionaires. There's too many.
Who cares? That's the point. Like, even if I don't care. There's billionaires, you don't know their name, and they're billionaires, but they did something, and now they make money, and you're like, you don't know them just because they're not a celebrity in this. Like, what's that one guy with Oracle? I thought he's the next Iron Man equivalent because he
What's
had
that
like,
one
facial
guy?
hair. From Oracle. He was Steve Jobs' like close business friend. Nobody knows.
Seth MacFarlane?
No. He's the founder or CEO or both of Oracle, and people think he's
Larry
neurotic in his
Ellison?
own way. Yes. Same thing. Nobody talks about him. Who cares? But somehow he makes great enterprise software that you don't know about. But he's a billionaire. Who cares? All I'm saying is that leave Elon alone. Leave Britney alone. Same thing. Who cares, man? Like, I want Twitter to work. That's all I care about. Don't make it Twitter, please. Don't make it TikTok. Please don't make it TikTok. That's all I ask.
Please. Yeah,
they probably will.
Then I'm gonna jump ship. App. Nope. Watch me not care.
What?
I'm watching.
I just want a YouTube competitor. That's all I really want.
Oh, the YouTube
Drew.
killer.
Here's a tech question for you. Do you care with YouTube about the revenue share for shorts? Does that matter to you? It's a genuine question.
My eyes turning left and right.
I don't understand the policy because before they announced that, I was monetizing my shorts. And then after they announced that, I posted a short and it didn't make any money. And I was like, well, what's the point? Like, what changed? I don't understand.
I thought it was two ways to make monetization. I thought it was either get this amount of views on shorts or get this amount of subscribers and watch time on regular videos. I thought it was one of two things that would give you monetization. But if they took it away,
Okay. I'll just give away some numbers here for exclusive details.
4, 8, 72, 69, 45.
There was
a
short
numbers.
I did back in May called Magic Mouse Device Switching. And it just shows that you don't need to go to Bluetooth settings to switch Magic Mice to devices. You just plug it in, and it'll connect to whatever the last device it was plugged into. Even though you can't use it when it's plugged in, it remembers what it was last connected to. That short made $6.30.
Woo!
And that was uploaded before they made the announcement to share revenue with shorts. 7 days ago, after the announcement, I did Stage Manager on A12X. And it's monetized. It has the green next to it, and I hit approved. It's like it's advertiser friendly. It made $0. So I don't know what policy they changed or what, but people were like, they're going to start paying people for shorts now. And I was like, I thought they already did. And then afterwards, now I'm not getting paid for shorts. So I don't understand the logic at all. The problem is shorts are not as easy to pay out. It's not as clear as to who gets the revenue because it's not a search and recommendation based approach to viewing content. With shorts, you're just swiping up and side to side, and at least that's how it is on TikTok, and YouTube Shorts is basically trying to do the same thing. And with normal YouTube, you get recommended titles, thumbnails, and they're all shown on the side, and then you go, oh, that one looks good, I want to watch that one. Or occasionally you get autoplay, but it's longer form, so it's not as like skip. And that thumbnail and title approach helps YouTube know, oh, this video gets a lot of attention when people get it recommended to them, versus TikTok. The videos or the YouTube Shorts are so short that it's all just based on audience retention. It's purely based on how long did you watch it for, but the audience retention has a lot less of an impact when the content itself is shorter. If you watched for 30 seconds, a 30 seconds short, it held your interest for 30 seconds, I guess, but you may not have been into it, and then you just skip to the next one. So I think it's always just objectively going to be harder to monetize that content, similar to the music industry moving to streaming with Apple Music and Spotify compared to just buying songs. That complicated all revenue for artists. And I think this will complicate revenue for video creators, but my hope is just that the longer form style of content just doesn't completely die out. It might. It's hard to say at this point, seeing attention spans, and I might just become the old guy that I like my old YouTube subscriptions. I like to just subscribe to channels and check for when they upload instead of wait for the algorithm to send stuff to me. Kind of like how my grandparents still love cable TV. I don't know why. I don't understand it, but they grew up with it. It just works. And that's what I'm used to. They just want to keep
watching. Grab the rotary phone, young man.
My grandma, my oldest grandma, bless her heart, still has to watch Lawrence Welk on PBS every Saturday night because they air it there. They haven't aired a new episode of Lawrence Welk in 40 years. It's all reruns. It's all online. You can play it on YouTube anytime you want. But she insists on only watching it at 6 p.m. in the evening on Saturday nights because that's her routine and that's what she's used to.
It's part of her routine, yeah.
Same thing with the local news. Is like she watches news in the area, and it's like every time we turn it on for her, it's like so-and-so was murdered and so-and-so got shot, and it's like there was a car crash. It's all terrible stuff. And she's like, oh, that's awful. And I'm like, what? Is there anything else you want to watch, Grandma? No, this is good. It's just
I want
that's her routine.
Depressing news.
Oh my God, I don't understand it, but that's her routine. That's her formula, and I'm feeling like that's probably going to be me in the future when all the kids are watching TikToks and they're all 10 seconds long, and they're just.
Let me push back. I disagree so hard about this. From someone who's obviously a successful YouTuber, blah blah blah. Let me tell you from both sides of this equation here, a viewer and a creator on the platform. I think long form is what YouTube got it just right the first time, and that one stood the test of time. YouTube has done stories and they suck. They don't do anything. Nobody likes them, but they try to do the Snapchat thing. YouTube now is trying to do the TikTok thing. These fads are fads. They come and go. They have community posts where it's a little bit more engaging, where it could be like Facebook or Twitter, or even Instagram if you want to post some. But it's like they're there. It's not the bread and butter of anything. Stories are still technically there, but their stories it all sucks. And it does. They do. Okay, they do. Don't like. Oh man, I go on YouTube to see my content creator post this story.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just like your brutalist way of explaining.
Listen,
terrible.
It is. It's all terrible. I'm just trying to I'm trying to just be as honest as possible. And videos have not slowed down on uploads on anything. People still watch it. Advertisements
watch time has gone down though.
Advertisers will still put their ads, like they see something we don't with the analytics that say this is still very much viable and it's not going anywhere. Right now, it might have gone down if that's the case, but I don't believe TikTok will be around like that. It will evolve. I think it will adjust and improve the way stories kind of became TikToks in a way, in a sense. I think there is an untapped market in the sense that like you can do something with a shorter amount of time, and maybe even the UI is about swiping and all that adjusts. But at the end of the day, I don't think the business model is sustainable for creators, and as viewers, you kind of just get drawn towards the next new thing anyway. And I personally feel, with such scientific evidence here, I just personally feel that YouTube is its own thing. It's not cable TV. It's not Netflix streaming. It's its own thing. It's always been its own thing because all three of us can have our own individual channels, do our own things, and then algorithms be what algorithms be. But algorithms change. They have changed. Click rates have changed. Remember when it was cool or fine or nobody's batted an eye with clickbait thumbnails and stuff like that? And then it was the information had nothing to do with it. And then it changed because it evolved. And now then they're like, no, you have to make sure you do the right tags. Then tags went away. Then it was all about the titles. And now it's all about the thumbnail. Things just evolve and progress over time. These reels or these shorts will become an evolution of that. And it's not going to replace or take away or substitute what YouTube has always been and stood the test of time for. Because it goes back to like you want a proper alternative for YouTube, and they tried. There's BitChute, there's all these other ones, but they all suck too. They all suck. You're gonna go where the audience is at, and that was the biggest thing I remember we talked about a lot. Is that's why Twitch is kind of like the way it is. You go there for a certain amount of content, but even then, you got creators leaving Twitch, and they're leaving the platform for their own gripes and reasons and stuff like that. And Drew is an example of that as well. That he loved. As a creator, he loved Twitch, but as the user experience, he was like, man, I regret waiting so long to come back to YouTube to stream. And because YouTube they did something right. And streaming is the juxtaposition of a short. Could not be any more contrast. No more different. It is the opposite of it. And those things are doing just fine. And how they support content creators is doing just fine. I don't think anybody, this is my unsolicited advice to you, Drew, and to anybody listening. I don't think you need to adjust your strategy to fit the current fad, because fads just change over time. As I described with thumbnails and titles and tags, all that stuff just kind of changes. The stories on YouTube suck, and people were at one point like, we need to get the information out there. No, these monopolies, in one sense, kind of serve their purposes if we're going to treat them as these public centers to go to. You go to Twitter to get certain news or information first. To go to YouTube if you want to watch a long form breakdown of something that just happens to have shorts. You go to Instagram if you want to look at artsy fartsy fake photos that people are just like, oh, look at how glamorous my life is. But then like it's like an album in a sense too for some people, because not everybody's a brand, and the idea that you have to market yourself as a brand is tiring. People get burnt out. I'm an example of that. Nick was an example of that. And some not everything has to be a brand. Sometimes people just want to passively enjoy the platforms that they're on, and that's why the TikTok thing. Okay, it's good now because it's a mind numbing. I'm just killing time. These marketers and these developers are so advanced about understanding the psyche of the human mind. Something will replace it in time. So the YouTube videos, those things will stand the test of time in their own thing. And then we'll become the old people with the cable for YouTube, but it still has a market. I mean, there's still advertisements. They just diversify where they serve their ads, but still there. Nothing's going to really kill it. I mean, streaming services are so expensive right now with prices that you're like, shoot, I might as well get DirecTV or cable. Like at this point, if you're paying the same, you might as well. So, I mean, you can make a case for that if you try hard enough. So I think it's all just seasonal. It's all seasonal in a sense. Some stuff will last longer. Some winters are colder and longer than others, but it's all seasonal. That's my honest belief about this. And my only thing I can claim to like support this is that I've been on YouTube since the very beginning. I'm that freaking old. I've seen it happen enough times since it was, thousands of people Since the very beginning I've been on it, and I saw how it's changed. YouTube will survive in its own way, but the Reels, or I keep saying Reels, I'm sorry, the Shorts, supplemental. It's just an add-on. No different than the community tab. Or the store. Go to my store. Buy my merch. Here's a tab for that. Okay, whatever. You're here to watch the content. You know what YouTube is. You used to say, Drew, you don't want to insult your audience. I don't tell people to like and subscribe because I don't want to insult your intellect about you know what you're doing. Take it a step further. You know why you're here. Everyone knows what YouTube is. We're not pretending. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Drew. Welcome to the YouTube. Like we all just know that. You know.
Welcome to the Erickson house. Here's my wife.
Hey. Welcome to the World Wide Web. WW. You all
This
know.
is called the internet.
Yeah. Same concept. You don't want to insult
Fancy
your audience. Look, you're. They know what YouTube is.
No, I
it's just
wanna
all
insult
supplemental. Oh well, then guys, you freaking. Never mind.
You should like and subscribe right now. Give us a follow. Share this with everyone in your family.
Yeah.
No, you bring up good points. YouTube has stood the test of time. That's for sure. It's gone through a lot of hard winters, but it's still here. There's still a lot of people that don't leave. Doesn't matter if they paywall 4K. Doesn't matter if they break monetization. Doesn't matter, like all these things
You're
that
right.
people complain. And
The paywall. You're right.
that's outrageous. Done. You know, they just kind of live with it.
What, you want me to pay for just standing there?
But I'm grateful for it as long as it's lasts. It could be much worse. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Could be a lot worse than what it is today. So I'll take what I can get. But
You could be on BitChute. And post your informations on Truth Social.
ooh, yeah, that would be bad. There's
Maybe that's the third company.
Truth Social. So
Mike's-
there's Samsung and there's Apple,
gears.
and that's the equivalent of Meta and X, and then there's Pixel, which is Truth Social. They're like the tiny sliver, fighting for third place with TCL.
Look at
TCL
us.
being
We're here.
Snapchat.
All right.
Or
Like,
TikTok.
wait, isn't Truth just looking like a red version of Twitter? And I mean, not politically. I mean, like literally, it has the red check mark instead.
I have spent so little time looking into Truth Social. I have no idea.
Let's be real. The only reason why we know is because of one person and one person only. So whenever I
Jimmy
see
Carter.
a screenshot of him, Jimmy Carter, and it's a red check mark with the same like I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing, and that's what Pixel.
You're talking
is.
about
It's
the
like,
My
look,
Pillow guy, right?
Yeah, yes.
Jimmy
The
Carter's
one who almost
My
said,
Pillow guy?
martial law this place. Gotta,
My Marshall.
and that's what the Pixel Watch is. It's True Social. Is like, isn't that a Galaxy Watch? Oh wait, that's what that. You can't tell. You can't tell. Mike literally caught on camera. Which one is that one? Exactly. That's my point.
Which one is that?
Guilty as charged.
How lame is that? Craig looking at Android watches. Which one is that? Beautiful. All right.
We may have
Any
all this,
final
but we
words,
all-
gents?
That was my final. I'm sorry. Was that so not supposed to be final? I'm done.
That was a word? I need to look up that word in the dictionary. No. Go watch She-Hulk. That's my only recommendation.
Mike, that check hasn't cleared yet.
Ah, crap. You can censor it out in post, right?
Can I want to watch this She-Hulk scene recreation with Randy and Mike twerking. I think that would be fun.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm in.
Can I be Cardi B? All right. Thanks for
God.
listening / watching, everyone. Oh, dear Lord.
That one's free.
Don't watch the podcast. Have a good day.
No,
Goodbye.
the future
Free.
is Randy's OnlyFans.
No.
Bye-bye.
Cutting it out now. Jeez.